I had just finished a long, exhausting day at work and stopped at a restaurant hoping for nothing more than a quiet meal before heading home. I sat down, opened the menu, and raised my hand to ask for a glass of water. But the second the waitress walked toward my table, I stopped breathing. It was Emily, my daughter-in-law, the woman Daniel said left him 6 months earlier. She looked pale and frightened. Then I saw her stomach. Emily was pregnant. I said her name and the tray slipped from her hands. She pulled me into the hallway beside the kitchen before I spoke. "Please," she whispered, shaking so hard she could barely stand. "Do not tell Daniel you saw me." Daniel told us Emily had left without warning. He said she wanted a new life and asked him not to search. I believed him. He had been my pride. I worked overtime for tuition and helped buy his first car. Emily cried as she told me the truth. Daniel had hidden gambling debts for over a year. He had borrowed from dangerous lenders and blamed her whenever she asked questions. When she became pregnant, he did not become happy. He became colder. She found messages showing he had tried to insure her life and planned to make her disappearance look voluntary. She escaped after he threatened her during an argument. A friend helped her reach a women's shelter and arranged this job under a different name. Then Emily gripped my hand and looked straight at me. "Richard, Daniel knows about your retirement account," she said. "He thinks you will forgive him. Please check your papers before you go home." That night I found a transfer form hidden in my filing cabinet, with my signature forged across the bottom. I sat at the kitchen table until midnight, staring at the forged transfer form. Daniel had copied my signature so well, I would have missed it without Emily's warning. The document let him move money from my retirement account and place a lien against the house I had spent 30 years paying off. For a few minutes, I wanted to call him and give him one chance to explain why my name was on that paper. But I remembered Emily shaking in that restaurant hallway. I remembered the fear in her eyes when she asked me not to tell him she was alive. So I locked the form in my desk, changed every password I owned, and called Emily from my work phone. She answered on the second ring. "I found it," I told her. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then I said the words I should have said when Daniel claimed she had disappeared. "I believe you." The next morning, Emily met me at a small legal aid office across town. She brought a folder filled with screenshots, account notices, and photographs she had been too frightened to show anyone. There were messages from Daniel, asking about her insurance policy. There were emails showing he had opened a line of credit in her name. There was one message, sent to a man Emily did not recognize, asking how quickly a person could disappear without attracting attention. Emily had saved it all because a counselor at the shelter told her fear was not proof. But patterns could become proof. She had been waiting for the right person to help her use it. I hated that it took seeing my own forged signature for me to become that person. If you have ever realized too late that someone you trusted was in danger, subscribe. Some people survive because one person finally chooses to believe them. The lawyer referred us to a detective who handled financial crimes and domestic abuse cases. Detective Morris did not promise easy answers. He asked Emily to tell the story slowly, from the first missing bill to the night she escaped. He asked me when Daniel had access to my papers, my bank records, and the spare key to my house. By the end of the meeting, he had enough to request a protective order for Emily and begin tracing the accounts Daniel had used. Over the next 10 days, I learned things about my son that made sleep almost impossible. Daniel had taken loans under false names. He had used my address on applications I had never seen. He had told creditors I would guarantee his debts. The money had not gone toward a business problem or some temporary mistake. It had gone into gambling sites, cash withdrawals, and payments to people he clearly feared. I kept thinking about the boy who used to fall asleep beside me after baseball practice, still wearing his cleats. I had taught him to look people in the eye when he spoke. Somewhere along the way, he had learned to look me in the eye and lie. Detective Morris called on a Thursday afternoon. "We found enough to move," he said. "Do not contact Daniel. Do not warn anyone in the family. We need him to believe he still has time." I looked through my window at the empty driveway and understood what he meant. My son did not know Emily was alive. He did not know I had seen the papers. And he did not know the next time he walked into a room, the truth would already be waiting for him. 3 days later, Detective Morris called. Daniel was at a storage unit with documents, cash, and a travel bag. Officers arrested him after finding records, connecting him to Emily's stolen credit line, my forged transfer form, and messages about making Emily disappear. I was not there. Part of me was relieved. Another part wanted to see his face when he learned Emily was alive and I had chosen her safety over his lies. But no arrest could give me back the son I thought I had. Emily moved into a protected apartment through the shelter. I visited only when she asked, bringing groceries, baby clothes, and the apology I owed her. I should have questioned him sooner, I told her. She looked tired, but calmer than the woman I had found at that restaurant. You believed me when it mattered, she said. Daniel sent me 2 letters from jail. In the first, he blamed the people he owed money to. In the second, he blamed Emily for leaving. I did not answer. A father can love his child and still refuse to protect the worst thing that child has done. 2 months later, Emily gave birth to a healthy boy. When she placed him in my arms, I felt something inside me break open, not with grief this time, but responsibility. I promised him he would grow up knowing love should never feel like fear. I lost my son long before the police put handcuffs on him. I lost him the day he decided another person's life was worth less than his escape. But I did not lose Emily, nor my grandson. That is what I hold on to now. Family is not blood alone. Family is the person who protects you when protecting you costs them everything.